I'm picking up my granddaughter from school. She gets into the car and sits there quietly, not sad, not angry, just empty, like someone turned off a light inside her. She's 15. I ask how her day was. She shrugs. I ask if something happened. She says no. Then there's this long silence, the kind you don't rush. And finally, she says something that's been stuck in my chest ever since. Grandpa, does it ever feel like nothing you do actually matters? I'm George. I'm 87 years old. I've lived through wars, recessions, buried people I loved, and made mistakes I still think about at night. And that question, it shook me, because I've asked myself the same thing more times than I can count. The difference is she's at the beginning of her life, looking forward, and I'm near the end, looking back. Somewhere between those two perspectives, I think I finally understand something important. We live in a world obsessed with impact. Everyone wants to matter, to be seen, to be remembered. I see it everywhere. People chasing careers they think will make them important. Posting online, waiting for validation, measuring their worth by how many people know their name. And I get it. I really do. But here's what I've learned after nearly 9 decades on this planet. The things that actually matter almost never feel like they matter at the time. Let me tell you about my neighbor Margaret. She lived 3 houses down from us for 42 years, never married, no kids. She was a 3rd grade teacher at the same elementary school her entire career. When she retired, there was a small gathering in the school gym, maybe 30 people, no cameras, no big speeches, just a plaque and a bouquet of flowers. 2 years later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. At her funeral, I expected a modest turnout. Margaret was private, unassuming, but that church was packed, standing room only, and one by one, people stood up to speak. A doctor said she was the first person who ever made him feel smart. A woman who runs a nonprofit said Margaret taught her to read when everyone else had given up. A man in his 50s brought his daughter and said he became a teacher because of her. Story after story. Lives changed, paths altered, all because of a woman who thought she was just doing her job. Margaret never tried to change the world. She never chased recognition. She just showed up, learned names, noticed who was struggling, stayed late to help with fractions and spelling words. Nothing glamorous, nothing headline-worthy, but the ripples from her life are still spreading through people she'll never meet. I think we got it backwards. We think mattering means being known by crowds, being seen, being remembered. But life doesn't actually work that way. Life is built on small moments between people, a conversation that shifts someone's perspective, a kindness that shows up right when someone's about to give up, listening when you'd rather talk, showing up when it's inconvenient. These moments feel ordinary while they're happening, so ordinary we almost dismiss them. When I was 39, I went through a rough stretch. My business was struggling. Money was tight. I was drinking too much, sleeping too little. I felt like a failure. One night, I was sitting in my car outside a bar trying to decide whether to go in, and this guy I barely knew, Tom, knocked on my window. We'd met maybe twice. He said he was heading to get coffee and asked if I wanted to join him. That was it. No lecture, no big speech, just coffee. We sat in a diner for 2 hours. He didn't ask what was wrong. He didn't try to fix me. He talked about his kids, a book he was reading, a trip he'd taken years ago. And somewhere in the middle of that completely ordinary conversation, something settled inside me. I didn't go into that bar. I went home. I don't remember everything we talked about, but that moment mattered. It changed the direction of my night, maybe my life. And Tom probably forgot about it by the next morning. That's the thing about mattering. It's almost never dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. You won't get a notification telling you that something you did changed someone's life. Most of the time, you'll never know. My wife, Ellen, used to write letters. Real letters, stamps and all. She wrote to our kids at college, old friends, cousins, neighbors. I used to tease her. I'd say, "Honey, phones exist." She'd smile and keep writing. After she passed, I found boxes of letters people had written back, and almost everyone said the same thing. How much her letters meant. How they'd saved some for years. How they reread them during hard times. She wasn't trying to matter. She was just reaching out. And she mattered more than she ever knew. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was younger. Your life doesn't need to be extraordinary to matter. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. The pressure to be exceptional crushes people. It makes them feel like their ordinary life isn't enough. But almost everything that holds this world together is done by people no one will remember. Parents getting up at night with sick kids, workers showing up and doing their jobs well, friends checking in when something feels off, people returning shopping carts, volunteers serving meals, neighbors paying attention, small, unremarkable acts, keeping everything from falling apart. You want to know if you matter? Look at the people directly in front of you. Are you present? Are you honest? Are you kind when you don't have to be? Do you keep your promises? Do you make room for someone else's pain? Those questions won't put you on magazine covers, but they'll decide whether your life meant something. I've been thinking a lot about my granddaughter's question. Does anything I do actually matter? And I've realized the question itself is the problem, because when we ask that, we usually mean, do I matter in some big, visible, measurable way? But mattering is quieter than that. It's knowing your presence or absence would make a real difference to real people. When my grandson was 7, he was terrified of water, wouldn't go near a pool. One summer, I spent 3 weeks, 15 minutes a day, standing with him at the shallow end. I didn't push. I didn't lecture. I just stood there. By the end of the summer, he was swimming. He's 23 now. He probably doesn't remember those afternoons. But I do, because I know that patience mattered. The older I get, the more I realize most of what we chase is smoke. Status fades, achievements disappear, people forget your accomplishments faster than you think, but they don't forget how you made them feel. They don't forget that you showed up, that you saw them when they felt invisible. Last week at the grocery store, the cashier looked exhausted. Dark circles, slow movements. I almost paid and left. Instead, I asked how she was doing. Really asked. Her eyes filled up. She told me she was working double shift because her mother was sick. We talked for 3 minutes. I told her she was doing something honorable, that her mother was lucky. Will that change the world? No. Did it matter to her in that moment? I think it did. So here's my answer to my granddaughter, and maybe to you. Yes, what you do matters, just not in the ways you've been taught to look for. It matters in the small moments, the quiet ones, the ones no one applauds, when you choose patience over anger, when you tell the truth even when lying is easier, when you stay when leaving would be simpler. Your life doesn't have to be a spectacle to matter, it just has to be honest, present, kind. I'm 87. I don't have many years left. And when I think about what I want my life to have meant, I don't think about awards. I think about the people I loved well, the moments I really listened, the times I helped without needing credit. Those are the things that lasted. If this meant something to you, share it with someone who needs it. And tell me, what's one small thing you're going to pay more attention to?